All right, gather round, folks, and make sure your lights are on because tonight we're diving deep into a tale that will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. You might think you're safe, nestled in your homes, but some stories have a way of lingering long after you've heard them. This isn't just any old campfire ghost story. This is about a place, a specific house that I once encountered. A place that defied logic, whispered secrets, and held on to something ancient. It all started when I took on a freelance photography gig. An old estate on the outskirts of town, recently inherited by a distant relative who wanted to sell it. My job? Capture its charm. A challenge, considering the property looked like it hadn't seen a friendly face in decades. The initial call was simple enough. Just get some good atmospheric shots, they said. The place has character. Oh, it had character, all right. More character than anyone could ever bargain for. I arrived on a Tuesday late afternoon. The sky was a bruised purple and a cold, damp wind bit at my exposed skin. The house itself stood silhouetted against the fading light, a skeletal sentinel of gables and darkened windows. Ivy, thick as a man's arm, clawed its way up the stone walls, obscuring what little light the windows might have once let in. A wrought iron gate, rusted and groaning on its hinges, guarded the overgrown driveway. Even before I stepped foot inside, I felt it. A pervasive chill that had nothing to do with the weather. Armed with my camera gear and a slightly overzealous sense of bravado, I pushed open the heavy front door. It groaned, a sound like a dying beast, echoing through the cavernous entrance hall. The air inside was stale, heavy with the scent of dust, decay, and something else. Something metallic and vaguely organic that made my stomach churn. My flashlight beam cut through the gloom, dancing across faded wallpaper peeling in strips, antique furniture draped in white sheets like forgotten ghosts, and a grand staircase that spiraled upwards into impenetrable darkness. The first floor was a maze of echoing rooms. A drawing room with a defunct fireplace, a dining room with a massive cobweb-draped table, and a kitchen that looked like it had been abandoned mid-meal. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of dry leaves outside was amplified. My photographer's instinct told me to focus on the details, but my gut was screaming to just get out. As I moved deeper into the house, a faint, almost imperceptible sound started to emerge. A soft, rhythmic scratching, like fingernails dragging across wood or mice scurrying in the walls. I dismissed it at first. Old houses make noises, right? But it grew more distinct, following me from room to room. It was never directly behind me, never in front, always just out of sight, just around the corner. I decided to head upstairs. The staircase felt like climbing into another dimension. The darkness deepened with every step, and the air grew colder, noticeably so. The scratching intensified, now sounding less like mice and more like something deliberately carving a pattern into the floorboards above. Reaching the landing, my flashlight beam cut across a long, narrow hallway. Several doors lined either side, all closed. The scratching was loudest at the very end of the hall, emanating from behind the last door on the left. My heart hammered against my ribs. Every fiber of my being told me to turn back, to run, to forget the photos and just get away. But curiosity, a terrible, dangerous master, held me captive. Slowly, cautiously, I approached the door. It was made of dark, heavy wood, completely unadorned. No handle, just a small, tarnished brass keyhole. The scratching was frantic now, a flurry of rapid, insistent scrapes. As I got closer, I noticed something else. A faint, almost sickly sweet smell like old flowers and something else less pleasant. I pressed my ear against the wood and the scratching stopped. Silence, absolute and profound, descended. My breath hitched in my throat. Then, from directly behind the door, a whisper. So soft, so delicate, I almost convinced myself I imagined it. But it was there. A child's voice, barely audible, saying a single word. Help! My blood ran cold. I stumbled back, my flashlight beam wildly swinging. The whisper wasn't a question, it was an appeal. A desperate, ancient plea. I fumbled for my phone, my hands shaking so badly I almost dropped it. No signal. Of course. I stared at the door, transfixed. Was someone trapped? Was this some cruel prank? The logical part of my brain battled with the primal fear that was now consuming me. I thought about kicking the door in, but it looked solid, immovable. Then, from the keyhole, a tiny sliver of light appeared, not from inside but emanating through the keyhole. It pulsed faintly, a soft, unnatural blue, and in that blue light, for a split second, I saw something move. Not a child's face, not even a human face. It was a single eye, a dark, ancient eye, staring directly back at me through the keyhole, filled with an unbearable sorrow and something far, far older than any human emotion. The scratching started again, but this time it was from all around me. From the floor, from the ceiling, from behind the other closed doors. The whispers joined in, a chorus of tiny, desperate voices all saying the same word. Help. Panic seized me. I didn't wait. I didn't look back. I practically flew down the stairs, tripping over my own feet, my camera gear clattering as I went. The whispers and scratches pursued me, a relentless, growing wave of sound. The front door, which had groaned open earlier, now seemed to slam itself shut behind me with a thunderous bang echoing through the empty house. I burst out into the bruised twilight, gasping for air, not daring to look back. I ran through the overgrown drive, past the groaning gate, and didn't stop until I reached my car, which I practically threw myself into. My hands were shaking so violently I could barely get the key in the ignition. I drove away, leaving a cloud of dust and fear behind me. I never looked back at the house, not once. I called the owner the next day, fabricating some excuse about equipment malfunction and a scheduling conflict. I couldn't bring myself to tell them what I had experienced. How could I? Who would believe me? I never took another job photographing old houses. And to this day, sometimes late at night when the house is quiet and the wind howls outside, I swear I can still hear it. That faint, rhythmic scratching. And the whisper. Always the whisper. So next time you see an old, abandoned house, its windows dark and empty, remember my story. Because some places aren't just old, they're hungry. They hold on to their secrets, and sometimes they want to share them. With you. Thank you so much for joining me for this tale tonight. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next chilling adventure. Sleep tight, everyone, if you can.